Happy Saturday! Hey! The sun's out. It's a pretty reasonable day, considering it's Buffalo, and it could snow at any moment. No, but that's what most Buffalonians would have you think. Is like, oh man, the winters is just so gnarly, dude. Like, it's like 80 today, but it could be snowing tomorrow. They don't actually talk like that, but they do come across with their fierce mentality that it could snow at any moment, like a bunch of scared surfers concerned that a wave could disappear at any moment. So there's my poetry for the Saturday. I figured it'd be fun to take a walk because when you do something like YouTube, you spend a lot of time working at a computer desk, which means you don't get outside much. And I apologize if all you can see is the side of my face. You're going to enjoy a very long, extreme close-up with my beard, because this is the only way I can mount the camera to take a walk. It's on a shoulder mount, on my backpack. And that's just the way it's going to be, you see? But anyways, it's just beard. Unless you have an extreme inversion of facial hair and close-ups of my earlobe, potentially, I think I might have fixed this problem, actually. Then keep on watching, because we're going to talk about some YouTube stuff and just take a little bit of a walk. We're probably actually going to go in there at some point, because I found this really cool place. It's actually right under that tree where we used to hang out when I was a kid. It was a lot less dense than it is now. But it's a cool little chill spot. Good place to go think. And I'd like to pretend that I've known about that spot for ages. And I go there to meditate and put myself into a place of deep thought. But I don't. In fact, I usually don't actually walk back here anymore. I ride my bicycle back here occasionally because it's grass and it's rough terrain. Surprised there's not somebody on the bike path, to be honest, on a Saturday. It's not really a bike path. In fact, at one point, no one came back here except for like myself, my brother, and my dad. When I was really young, this was super thin, and no one would come back here. So we would ride our dirt bikes back here, and this is where I grew up riding. And it was actually, despite what it looks like, there's a lot of awesome stuff up ahead. There's like ditches and, especially on the straightaway, there's a couple big ditches. So now you kind of learn leaning back on the bike, getting the front tire off the ground, using the throttle to control, your speed and your front wheel as you go over ditches. And that's a valuable skill to have when you start riding seriously when you get older. Because believe it or not, think about a really simple scenario on a motorcycle while you're on the road, especially. And most people end up, getting a road bike, whatever it is, cross rocket, a Sportster, cruiser, and they don't have that much time in the dirt. And to me, that's actually a huge negative. It's like, who's going to be the better pilot? The guy who flew jet fighters or biplanes, some sort of serious plane that was in a situation where he had to avoid a crash or some sort of an aerial failure, or the guy who just flies 747s all the time? Probably the guy with the additional experience. And it's the same to be said for riding a bike on the road. I always tell people, if you can get experience off-road, do it. It is invaluable. Stuff like this. Super small ditch, right? But imagine having to deal with something like this on the road at high speed, like getting ran off the road by an idiot. If you don't know how to tackle something like this on a dirt bike, let alone on a street bike, you're screwed. You're screwed. But this is an obstacle that you could overcome without a doubt. I guess let's keep walking. And it's about those off-road riding skills and being able to adapt that to on-road. But a situation like something falls into the road, a log, a small tree, something that, isn't so big where you're like, yeah, I'm pretty much done. These are little things that could really throw off, the uninformed or the unexperienced rider. Where somebody's who rides off-road is going to know, okay, get back, throw my weight to the back of the bike as much as I can, control the throttle, don't slow down, for something small like a 2x4, unless of course you can come to a stop. We're not talking about every scenario here, but there are instances where you can't stop, you can't even swerve around the object. And what would you rather do? Have some sort of attack plan, or just barrel into it head first with all your weight over the front tire? Clueless as to what's going to happen. So yeah, I learned a lot back here, and I think this made me a safer rider on the road without a doubt. There's a reason that I've been driving and riding bikes on the roads since I was 18. I'm 26 now, and I have no accidents. I'm excessively aware. And I also think that I said this in the past, riding motorcycles makes you a better driver inside of a car. It makes you more aware. But let's start talking about motorcycles. Let's talk about YouTube for a little bit. I'd like to talk about back here, but honestly, I feel like talking about YouTube is far more interesting to people who are watching a gaming YouTuber who does YouTube. So maybe another day we'll talk about back here in my childhood, because this is very much where I grew up. Look at this rabbit. He's just like, how's it going, man? You gonna follow me? He's late, he's late, he's late for a very important date. He doesn't actually seem late. He doesn't seem like he's in a hurry at all. He seems like he probably just got laid, because that's all bunnies back here do is get laid. There's seriously there's so many rabbits back here because there's no predators really for them to deal with. Apart from maybe the occasional house cat. My house cat used to actually be one of those, I should say outdoor cat, that was also our house cat. She used to be one of those threats, but she has since passed away. She was like 18 years old when she passed away, actually, just this winter. And now they're all over our backyard. It's funny because they totally recognized her and they were totally afraid of her. It's hilarious. But yeah, you could sit back here for 15 minutes, minimum 15 minutes, and you'll see at least 10 of them just come out onto the path. We used to play paintball and airsoft back here. We would just sit still, and then they'd all swarm out, and they'd move and they'd all scatter. So let's talk about YouTube. I kind of wanted to throw a small piece of advice, something that has become very apparent to me, and I have to make a very difficult decision when it comes to making content. And that is, at this point in time, if you're looking to build a YouTube channel, like so many people are, everyone wants to build a YouTube channel. Who doesn't? You know, it's a dream of running a channel and being able to pay the bills at the same time. It's one of those dream jobs, you know? Gnats everywhere. You better be faster than that, bunny. I'm gonna catch you. I'm gonna follow you to the rabbit hole. You know, everybody really excited about it and people want to do it, you know? And there are people who will have the dedication, who will do it for 4 years like I've done it. And maybe they won't get anywhere. Maybe they will. I think the big thing to recognize, at least in terms of making gaming YouTube content that I've realized, is it doesn't matter how great your content is, the discussion that you have. Like, good content is good content. That's obviously key to the success of anything, is having good quality in what you do. But the other side of it is that YouTube is so incredibly dense and populated with channels. Channels that are successful, channels that aren't successful. Like, there's just so much for people to sort through when they're going to find content. I'll just walk a little bit further. This is like more getting into people's backyards. Not really, but a lot of people probably out enjoying their Saturday. I don't want to interfere with that. So let's ninja. Let's not ninja. You know, so there are types of videos that I feel you have to make if you want your channel to get anywhere. Let's go back this way. We could keep walking all the way to the end of the street basically, but we're not going to, because I want to go back through that piece of woods that I showed you guys to go to that tree. It's a really nice, relaxing spot. It actually used to be a swamp over there, but we'll talk about that when we get there. So back to the YouTube thing. There are just types of videos you're going to have to make in order to drag attention to your channel. And I've talked about this briefly in the past with like channel updates, but it seriously is a requirement. Like, I can make this video that I think is amazing, and a lot of people will be really into this discussion piece, you know? But if the title of the video alone doesn't provide instant value, then people don't care. And that's the kind of the society we live in today. You know, a lot of people like Gary Vaynerchuk, you know, he's all good content is good content, you know, long videos, whatever, short videos, but he does understand that we are slipping into an age when everybody wants everything delivered to them very quickly. You know, they'll sit there and they'll watch a 2-hour episode of Game of Thrones, but, you know, if they're gonna watch a YouTuber, more people are watching gaming YouTubers, in my opinion, for data, to consume information, guides, specifically, tips and tricks, walkthroughs. They want that stuff really quickly. They're not watching it for entertainment. That's the majority, in my opinion. And this is based on, you know, again, my personal research from my channel specifically. There's no denying that there are channels that exist entirely on entertainment. How many of those channels do tips and trick guides? Very, very few of them. They do one or the other, because then they build that audience that expects comedy and humor and doesn't go there looking for a guide on how to play Sumatra in Overwatch. They expect a funny compilations video. So when you're stuck somewhere in the middle, and you're trying to entertain and provide information and trying to have thoughtful discussion, you're going to have to make these guide type videos. You just have to. They're the only thing that are going to draw people to your channel. You want to know how my channel grew from the like 7,500 subs to that 10,000 subs in that like 2-week period? It was a freaking weapon review for The Division. The video I did for the Caduceus, and that is how you say it, by the way. You know, I ended up getting like 50,000 views in the first week and a half. That drew all those people to my channel. Almost all of those subscribers came to my channel because of that video. It wasn't a video on, let's talk about the games industry and you know, my problems with FPS progression systems, which is a video I've done and it's done incredibly poor. It has no click value and it has no search value. The video on the Caduceus, extremely high click value, extremely high search value. And that video title, I didn't even put like best weapon. I put hard hitting, the Caduceus, and that was it. You don't even have to do what most people are doing, which is, you know, best this, ultimate that. If it's a click-worthy title, bug in my ear, you know, people are going to go to it. And again, if it's a search-worthy title, then people are searching for it. People aren't searching on YouTube, I think, gaming-wise, for entertainment. They're going to the YouTubers they already recognize. And if they stumble across somebody new, then so be it. That's my very, very slim theory based on the slim information and data that I've received from my channel. And there's so much more that I'm thinking about when it comes to that. This entire week has been like mental overload for me. Seriously, I have a headache today. So I figured the sun would be good. Because just so much to think about. It's ridiculous. You know, you're trying to figure out like, why did this person grow this quickly? You know, what can I do to build exposure for the channel while still making the content that I love, the content that I want to make? Something crawling up my leg. It's not an easy thing to balance, which is why, as I've said in the past, the channel that just does straight up guides and tips, or mostly guides and tips, is going to grow faster than the channel that does 1 or 2 of those a month and then saves the rest of their time doing esoteric discussion pieces or trying to be different. You look at the number of channels that are in the like 50,000 to 100,000 plus subscriber range. Look at them for one specific game. Don't even look at variety channels, because those are always going to be, you know, like mine, like low or very high because they've had time to grow or because they started their channel very early on. They're almost all going to be producing the same type of content, if not the exact same types of videos, of course with their personality and spin on it. And that's why someone would watch, say, someone like Dado over someone like, you know, Mr. Fruit, which admittedly they are 2 very different YouTubers, so bad example there. Mr. Fruit is much more comedy based. I was just back here yesterday, it wasn't this thick. Let's just be Nigel Thornberry for a second. But you get what I'm trying to say here, right? You know, 2 like Destiny YouTubers, again, their personalities, they may have a few videos that set them apart, but they're both doing weapon review type videos. You know, they're doing something like that. Very few of them are spending a large amount of time on, you know, discussion pieces. Although I think those are becoming more popular. I feel like you're seeing more people start to do videos like that. And those are the videos I like to do. You know, like, let's talk about sidearms, let's get in depth about, you know, the emotional connection that someone could have to a game. You know, how does that influence whether or not they come back for an expansion? I love stuff like that. But is it search worthy? Not so much. So we'll almost always leave your channel, you know, not really getting that exposure. I don't know. It's, like I said, this is really theories that I have in my head that I want to talk about today. But this is the spot, man. I'm thinking I'm gonna like get a nice little chair back here, maybe clear this out a little bit. There's some trash I'd like to get out of here. I don't know why there's tires back here. People just like to dump stuff back here apparently. This, like I said, there used to be swamp. Like legitimately this was a swamp. And if you talk to a lot of people, a lot of Cheektowaga, this part of the county was built on swamps. Our giant like super mall, Galleria Mall, is built on a swamp, and they say it sinks like an inch every year or something. And they've had all these problems like with flooding inside of the buildings and stuff, and absolutely crazy. But seriously, this was Indian territory at one point. There's crabapple trees everywhere. Native American, sorry. Shoot me, I know, please. Native American. Yeah. So I don't know. That's what I've been thinking a lot about this week. It's been crazy, guys. It's been crazy. So I've been trying to enjoy my Saturday, and I wasn't gonna make a video. I did some barbecuing and enjoyed a Red Bull, cranberry Red Bull, and I was like, you know what, let's go for a walk. And again, I apologize for the beard. I apologize for breathing because I'm walking and commentating. Not an easy thing to do. You definitely run out of breath. I don't care how good a shape you are in. Watch some of Travis Haley's videos. Dude's a freaking, you know, ex-special forces, and he runs out of breath because he talks too fast. It's one of my problems. Let's make our way back out of here. So yeah, we still like venture through this when we were a kid, hardcore. This was like, you know, when we were like 7 and 8, we're like, yeah, we're gonna go on an adventure. We'd pack a little knapsack, you know, like a bag or a pillowcase on the end of a stick, like you see in all the cartoons. Fill it with Twizzlers and some water. Head on out into the woods for 20 minutes. What a substantial adventure that was. But it was good times. All right, I could go on forever, guys, and I think I'll probably talk a lot more about this in the future. But like I said, you know, really just my theories on things. And honestly, that's one of the best pieces of information I can give somebody, or tip for a new channel looking to build their channel on YouTube. Number one, spend some time making videos. Seriously, just make videos. Like everybody who comes up to me, smaller channels who are like, you know, well, this guy's a smaller channel, so hopefully he'll give me some advice. And I do. Like most of you guys, you shoot me a question and I try and respond. The big thing I hate seeing is people getting frustrated and they've made 6 videos. I'm frustrated, I made 400 videos. Or like 600 videos, I've deleted like 200 of them. Like, you're just gonna have to get past that frustration, and you're gonna have to keep making content. You can't stop. You have to keep making it. You know, like, I don't care if it comes to the point where, oh, I'm going to school, you know, I need this job because I need money. I understand that. You have to prioritize, you know? You can't just like throw a caution in the wind and lose your house because you want to be a YouTuber. So if you can only make 1 video a week, that's fine, but make 1 video every single week. Don't stop, you know? Like there's all these big names out there who I enjoy watching, no doubt about it. Gary Vaynerchuk, Ty Lopez, people like to make fun of him. No, he's dead serious. He knows exactly what he's talking about. To me, that stuff is all common sense though. I'm like, yeah, I get this, and I can understand how other people don't, and I wish other people would. You know, you have to have the drive, and obviously there's a lot of technicalities behind it, but first and foremost is the drive to be consistent, to keep doing what it is. So if you come to me with 6 videos and you're like, what can I do to grow my channel? I'm gonna be like, well, you can start by actually doing and making videos. You've only made 6. You haven't learned anything from yourself with 6 videos. And it's all about self-learning. No one is gonna tell you the magic guide. People can tell you the mindset to have, and that's up to you to adopt that mindset and then to just keep building. Keep building, because you're gonna learn from yourself. Like I've talked about this in the past with constructive criticism when it comes to running a YouTube channel. The best constructive criticism you'll ever have is what comes from yourself. And you can get lost in that sometimes, and that's hardcore, and you'll have to deal with it. I've been there, I'm there this week. You have to get past it. No one's gonna give you those answers. And talking to another YouTube, even if you did get to talk to your favorite 1 million sub YouTuber, they're not even gonna know what to tell you. They're already there. Half of them got there. You know, the people who started their channels 5, 6 years ago, they stumbled into those roles on accident, and they openly admit it. Nanners, you know, Force Gaming's talked about. There's so many of them. Well, I just started doing this for fun. Next thing you know, I'm getting paid. So they adapted and they adopted, you know, they grew into the scene in a very different way than you're going to have to. Everything's gonna be more difficult. You know, you're growing into something that's already populated, that already has a large number of people doing things in it. So chew some grass, make some videos, learn from those videos, and then number 2, like I said, consider the content you're making. Especially, you know, we're talking about gaming channels here. That's what I have experience with. If you can make guides, things that are immediately valuable to people, and you can do them well, I admit I still struggle with guides in terms of like what knowledge do people need, because it's like writing a strategy guide. You have to remove yourself from the mindset of I know this and other people probably will, and say no, other people probably won't, and give them as much information as they can. And you need to do it quickly, and you need to maintain your personality, because that's what's going to separate you from the other guy who's doing the same videos as you, which is going to happen. There's going to be people making the same videos. That's why there's 50 million weapon reviews out there. And you know what, that's okay, because there's 50 million cooking shows out there. It's about putting your personality into it and making it unique and enjoyable to watch. That's all I got. I don't know all the answers. I'm still trying to figure this out myself. I'm gonna go home, eat some barbecue, drink some sun tea. I hope you guys have a freaking fabulous Saturday. You got me all amped up now. I'll see you in the next one.